Deviation from the ideal, different approaches to the standard which most people are striving for, sense of subjective discomfort. This approach is personal feeling of distress, anxiety, or guilt. Inability to function effectively, cannot retain relationships or hold a job. Legal concept is if you know the difference between right or wrong, which determines whether you please insanity.
Anxiety disorders consist of worry or tension. Everybody has experienced it at one point or another from stressful situations. There is nothing wrong with anxiety. It is what motivates us to study hard or work long hours. But there are four major types of anxiety disorders: phobia disorder, panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder. A phobia is the irrational fear of a specific external stimuli. Phobias may cause only a minor impact on people's lives because they can avoid the stimuli that triggers the fear. Panic disorder. Panic disorder consists of panic attacks that put your brain in fight or flight mode. The attacks come out of nowhere, and because the trigger is unknown, victims of panic attacks may become fearful of going places. Symptoms of disorder differ from person to person. The physical symptom affects how information is processed in the brain.
At first, it felt like ginger ale in my skull.
Whoa, what's wrong? You all right?
I don't got time for these fucking attacks.
Generalized anxiety disorder is free-floating anxiety, the feeling something bad is about to happen at any given moment. Obsessive compulsive disorder. OCD is when people are plagued by unwanted thoughts called obsessions or feel that they must carry out actions against their will. For example, washing your hands until it feels right.
Somatoform disorders are psychological difficulties that take on a physical form, but for which there is no medical cause. Hypochondriasis is when people have a constant fear of illness and a preoccupation with their health. These individuals believe that everyday aches and pains are symptoms of a dread disease. Conversion disorders involve an actual physical disturbance such as the inability to see, hear, or to move an arm or leg. The cause of such a physical disturbance is purely psychological. There is no biological reason for the problem. Dissociative disorders are characterized by the separation or disassociation of different facets of a person's personality that are normally integrated and work together. Dissociative identity disorder (DID), once called multiple personality disorder, displays characteristics of two or more distinct personalities, identities, or personal fragments. Dissociative amnesia is when a selective memory loss occurs. The forgotten material is still present in the memory, it simply cannot be recalled. Dissociative fugue is in the state of which people take sudden, impulsive trips and sometimes assume a new identity. After a period of time, days, months, or sometimes even years, they suddenly realize that they are in a strange place and completely forget the time that they have spent wandering.
Mood disorder is a mental health problem such as depression, bipolar, and mania, can occur in anyone, even children. Causes not fully understood, may be related to mental conditions, substance abuse, life events, or other causes. Bipolar mania disorder is a condition most commonly characterized by having an abnormally elevated mood. Major depression is a constant sense of hopelessness and despair that interferes with concentration, decision making, and sociability. Abraham Lincoln suffered from this disorder.
Schizophrenia, a long-term mental disorder of a type involving a breakdown in relations between thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, leading to faulty perceptions, inappropriate actions and feelings, withdrawals from reality and personal relationships into fantasy and delusions, and a sense of mental fragmentation. Delusions. People with schizophrenia often have delusions, firmly held, unshakable beliefs with no basis in reality. Among common delusions by people with schizophrenia are the beliefs that they are being controlled by someone else, they are being prosecuted by others. Natalie, I really have to tell you something.
What?
Like, put your phone down.
Why?
It's really serious. I have this thing where I feel like the FBI is spying on me. Like, there's cameras looking at me right now.
Stop it.
I'm being serious. There's like cameras everywhere, like right there. There's one
No,
right
there's
there.
not.
Yes, there is.
No.
Yes,
You
there
want
is.
me to show you that there's not?
I'm telling you, there's cameras everywhere.
No, girl, you are tripping.
Hallucinations. People with schizophrenia have a sensory experience of something that does not exist outside the mind, caused by various physical and mental disorders or by reactions of certain toxic substances, and usually manifested or visual and auditory images. Emotional disturbances. People with schizophrenia sometimes show a lack of emotion, in which even the most traumatic events produce little or no emotion response. Conversely, they may display emotions that is inappropriate to a situation.
Why are you laughing?
Withdrawals. People with schizophrenia tend to have little interest in others. They tend to not socialize or hold real conversation with others. Although they may talk to another person, in the most extreme cases, they do not acknowledge the presence of other people, appearing to be in their own isolated world. Biological causes. The closer the genetic links between a person with schizophrenia and another individual, the greater the likelihood that the other person will experience the disorder. Brain structures. Scientists have found differences in brain anatomy between the identical twins, one with the disorder and one normal.
Personality disorder is a self-destructive pattern of behaving, no matter what the situation is. This leads to distress in your life and impairs your ability to go about routine functions. Severe behavior patterns that make it constantly difficult for people to get along with others, regardless of the circumstances. It interferes with normal social interactions. Borderline personality disorder is a serious mental illness marked by unstable moods, behavior, and relationships. For example, Jodi Arias was a woman who didn't know her own identity. After her boyfriend rejected her and fell in love with a brunette, Jodi decided to copy her image. There were devastating consequences. She stabbed him 29 times.